I still remember the moment Donna looked straight at me and said, in that soft little voice that somehow hit harder than any winter wind, "You'll watch the kids for the whole holiday. The adults need time together." I was standing in the kitchen, hands covered in cookie dough because I was finishing the last batch for everyone. The smell of vanilla was still in the air, but I felt cold all the way through. The shocking part wasn't what she said. It was that Liam, my husband, was standing right next to me and didn't say a word, like it had all been decided beforehand, like my opinion had never existed. I looked down at my hands, dough stuck to my fingertips, and Liam's silence stuck to me even more. To understand how that moment even happened, we have to rewind just a few days. Back when everything still looked normal in the way everyone else except me. Liam's family has this very specific holiday tradition. Every year they plan a holiday getaway, like they're organizing an official event. Someone handles food, someone books the place, someone decorates. Everyone has a role, like a cast that's rehearsed for years. Except me. I'm the blank space they fill with whatever role they want, usually the role of the one who's free. I remember that night so clearly. Everyone was gathered around the table, talking about their 3-day trip to a resort a few hours away. Everyone was excited. Everyone was busy. Everyone had plans, except me, because no one asked. Not because I didn't matter, but because in their eyes, I was always available. The way they said, "Madison can help watch this," sounded like someone saying, "It'll probably be cold tomorrow." Just a fact. No need to ask, no need to confirm. And the funniest part was, they genuinely believed it. I'm Madison. I work remotely as a content strategist, a job I love, and one that keeps me busy enough that there's no such thing as free time. I live a pretty organized life. I'm quiet, I keep good boundaries, and I don't like forcing anyone to bend to me. Liam is different. He's a good man, but he avoids conflict in a way that makes him overlook things that matter. Anytime the tension rises, he pulls back into his safe shell. And Donna? She's the kind of person who believes that if she thinks something is right, then it simply is. She loves her family, but that belief often comes with a habit of pushing her will onto others and guilt-tripping in subtle ways. This year, they talked about the menu, who would buy gifts, who'd take the kids ice skating. There was only one role they didn't discuss: who would watch the kids while the adults went out. Because they'd already answered that by looking at me. "Madison can handle it," someone said. Thrown out casually, like I was a household tool you just pick up when you need. I gave a small smile, even though it stung a little. Not because I dislike kids, but because for the last 3 years, every holiday has been the same. Everyone else gets to fully enjoy their season, and I end up doing the work that makes their enjoyment possible. I cook, I clean, I keep the kids busy so the adults can have grown-up time. I eat later, and usually the cold leftovers. I get up whenever someone calls. Madison. I take on extra when someone says, "Can you help for a minute?" I became the role no one ever asked if I wanted. And somehow that role turned into who I am in their eyes. I don't know why things felt different this time. Maybe because I'd spent the whole month rushing to meet deadlines before the break. Maybe because I'd grown up a little, learned to value my time and energy more. Or maybe my heart was just tired of being polite about other people's thoughtlessness. That night, my phone buzzed. Donna was calling. I put it on speaker and kept clearing the table. "Madison," she said, in that calm, even tone she uses when she's already made up her mind. "We've all agreed. You'll watch the 5 kids from the 21st to the 24th. We have our own plans." I froze for a few seconds. It wasn't a request. It wasn't checking if I was free. It was a schedule being read to me. I took a slow breath. "I'm not sure." Donna cut me off. "Oh, Madison, you work from home. You're flexible. And besides, you don't have any other responsibilities. We just need you to help a little. A little. 4 days, 5 kids, and the assumption that my life is so empty anyone can write on it." I looked at Liam. He stood there, silent, his eyes avoiding mine. I understood in that moment, this holiday wouldn't be like the others. It wasn't, I got pulled into it anymore. It was they already decided for me. And in that brief second, the coldest thing wasn't the weather. It was realizing none of them thought I had a life of my own to protect. I stood there with the phone still in my hand, Donna's words hanging in the air like an order that had been signed long ago. After a moment, I took a deep breath and spoke. Calm enough to keep it from turning into a fight. "I have work, Donna. I still have deadlines this week. I can't watch 5 kids for several days like that." On the other end, she let out a small laugh. Not a happy laugh. The kind you hear when someone thinks you're saying something unreasonable. Madison, you work from home. It's just emails and clicking around. You can be flexible. I closed my eyes. That sentence hit the sorest spot. Not because it was true, but because it showed exactly how they saw me. Someone at home. Someone whose time and work didn't need to be respected. We just need you to help a little, Donna added, like I'd just turned down something tiny. Between help a little and watch 5 kids for several days straight, there are 2 completely different worlds. But in theirs, that line never existed. That night, after the call ended, I sat down on the sofa. A few minutes later, my phone started buzzing non-stop. Texts from 2 sisters-in-law and one of Liam's brothers. Madison, we'll drop Noah off on Monday, okay? Ivy's easy. You just need to turn the TV on for her. We'll bring Evan by around 9. Thanks in advance. No one asked if I agreed. Those messages came with the tone of people who believed the plan had been settled long ago, and all I needed to do was nod. I stared at the screen, feeling like I'd just been turned into the family daycare center. Liam walked into the room with a glass of water. He looked at me for a second, then asked quietly, "You okay?" "Everyone's sending their kids over," I said, eyes still on the screen. He shrugged like it was completely normal. "It's just a few days, then we'll still have time off." I turned to look at him. "You think this is okay?" Liam avoided my eyes, that familiar move he used whenever he didn't want to face something uncomfortable. "You work from home? I figured you could manage." That sentence made me feel small, not in a gentle way, but in the way someone shrinks you to fit their needs. The next morning, Donna called again. This time, she didn't ask about plans. She went straight in. "Madison, don't make this a big deal. You don't have the kind of pressure we do. You young people." She paused, her voice settling into something firmer. "You don't have a real life. You just have hobbies. So you're free." I froze. Don't have a real life. That line dropped right in the middle of my chest, heavy as a stone. Not because it insulted my job, but because it dismissed my existence. In their eyes, a real life belongs to people with kids, packed schedules, and the standard kind of busy. But me, someone who works remotely, has no kids, doesn't complain, doesn't ask for help, somehow doesn't count as having a real life. I put my hand on the counter to steady myself. "Donna," I said slowly, "I have a job, and I have my own life." "Madison," she answered right away, "you need to be reasonable. Family is everything. Everyone has to sacrifice a little. Especially you. You're not tied down by anything. Your father passed, you don't have other responsibilities." My fingers tightened on the counter. Dragging my dad, the man I loved, the man I lost, into this just to guilt me, that was a blade I didn't expect her to use. I tried to keep my voice from shaking. "I've sacrificed a lot already, Donna." She said, "What are you talking about?" Then let out a laugh, half annoyed, half dismissive. "You're only being asked to help for a few days. Don't turn this into something bigger than it is." A few days. A few days decided without asking me. A few days where the adults went out and I was left with all the responsibility. When the call ended, I set my phone on the table. The house was quiet, but inside me, everything was loud. All the past holidays rushed back. Me carrying plates while they laughed, me watching the kids while they went out, me eating the cold leftovers while they posted family dinner, photos with bright smiles. Me never being asked what I wanted. I wasn't angry that they lived their lives. I was angry that they never considered I had one too. That night, I sat in my office, warm light spilling over my desk. My laptop was open to the project I still needed to finish. The deadline was in 3 days. They didn't know. They didn't care. In my mind, Donna's sentence kept replaying, each word sharp and clear. "You don't have a real life." No real life. I closed my eyes. Sometimes a sentence doesn't need to be loud to explode. It just needs the right person at the right moment. And for me, that was the explosion. A part of me. The part that had worn down through every holiday, every time I was treated like an endless resource, suddenly stood up. I realized something I'd probably known for a long time but never dared to face. If I don't protect my own life, they'll keep writing it the way they want. No one is coming to pull me out of the role they've put me in. If I want out, I'm the one who has to move first. I opened my eyes. In the silence of that room, I heard that sentence again. But this time, it didn't hurt. It made me certain. "No real life," they said. "All right then, I'll show them exactly what my real life looks like, when no one else gets to arrange it for me." After that sentence, "You don't have a real life," Replayed in my head enough times, everything suddenly became frighteningly clear. No extra thinking. No overanalyzing. The answer appeared in front of me, neat and cold like a winter window pane. I had to leave. Not to run away, but to take back the life they'd just dismissed. That night, when the house was quiet, I opened my laptop. The airline's website lit up against the dark screen. My hands didn't shake. I just felt light, like I was finally allowed to choose for myself. I booked a flight to somewhere warm, where the heat you feel on your skin is real, not the kind of family warmth people use to pressure you into doing what they want. One-way ticket. No notes. No shared itinerary. I didn't tell Liam. I didn't tell anyone. I just picked a departure date, the 20th. A full day before their drop-the-kids-off plan. Just enough so that when they came to my door, all they'd find was silence. When the confirmation email popped up, I exhaled. It felt like I'd unlocked a door I didn't even know had been sealed for years. The next morning, I started packing. Not rushed, not sneaking, just doing what I needed to do. I locked every window, turned the alarm system to its highest setting, unplugged the internet, lowered the house temperature to the minimum, put anything fragile away in the cabinets, closed the door to my office, the one place I didn't want anyone touching, especially people who didn't respect the work I put into it. Then I took the trash out and happened to run into Mr. Henderson, my older neighbor. He was grumpy but strict in all the right ways. "I'm leaving for a few days," I said. "If you hear anything weird or see anyone trying to get into my house, please call the police right away." He looked me up and down, his eyes sharp but not nosy. "I'll call," he said. "You don't need to worry." And I knew he meant it. He's the kind of man who'll stare someone down from his window if they step half an inch onto his lawn until they run off. Exactly the person I needed. Before I left the house, I wrote a few lines on a small sheet of paper. Every word was chosen carefully. No blame. No drama. No bitterness. Just the truth. If I don't have a life of my own, then I'm going to find it. Don't try to enter the house. I taped the note to the front door, right in the center, perfectly aligned. When I stepped back to look at it, something strange hit me. I'd never felt this upright, this steady in my entire life. On the 20th, I pulled my suitcase to the door. No looking around, no hesitation, no letting my own shadow hold me back. The airport was crowded, but my mind felt light. When the plane lifted off, everything beneath the clouds was a life I'd stayed in far too long. I turned off my phone, no location sharing, no updates, nothing. Just sunlight pouring through the airplane window, warming my hand. For the first time in many holidays, I felt peaceful. And back home, the story started unfolding exactly the way I knew it would. On the morning of the 21st, 2 of Liam's family SUVs pulled into my driveway. There was no snowstorm this year, just a light, cold, stubborn rain, the kind of weather that makes everyone want to hand off responsibility as fast as possible. The SUV doors opened. Kids spilled out, yelling, holding toys. The adults quickly popped open the trunk to grab bags, jackets, and anything they didn't want to carry during their adult day out. "Once we drop the kids off, we'll still make it to brunch," one sister-in-law said. "Yeah, and then we've got that massage appointment," the other added. Liam wasn't there. He'd called the night before, but I didn't pick up. Maybe he thought I was just upset and would cool off. Maybe he never imagined I'd do something they couldn't control. Donna tried the door. The handle didn't budge. She tried again and again. The lock had been changed. "What is this?" she muttered, sounding more annoyed than worried. Liam's brother stepped up. "Let me try." The door still didn't open. One of the kids ran over. "Grandma, I'm cold." Donna frowned. "Madison, are you in there?" Silence. Then one of the sisters-in-law spotted the note. There's something taped here." They read it out loud. The first line made all 3 adults freeze. "If I don't have a life of my own, then I'm going to find it." The kids didn't understand, but the adults understood a little too well. "Where did she go?" one of them asked, voice sharper than usual. "She's probably hiding," another said, trying to sound angry to cover the panic. Right then, the neighbor's door opened. Mr. Henderson stepped out, coat pulled tight, standing at the edge of my lawn. She's noise carried clearly through the rain. Donna spun around. "Do you know where Madison went?" "I know she's not in the state," he said simply. "And she told me to call the police if anyone tries to get into her house." Silence dropped long enough that I could picture the scene perfectly. Stunned faces, a little shame, a little irritation that their plan couldn't go the way they wanted. A little girl started crying because she was cold. A boy mumbled, I thought Miss Madison was gonna play Legos with me. One sister-in-law sighed. So what now? Mom, we still have appointments. Donna bit her lip. We can't take all of them with us. So we go back to your place? Liam's brother asked, like that was the only option. Your place is too small. Another voice sighed. But they didn't have any other options. They couldn't get into my house. They couldn't leave the kids standing in the rain. They couldn't twist anything to make this my fault. So they did something they almost never had to do. They dealt with the consequences of their own choices. The SUV doors opened again. The kids climbed back in, wet, loud, tired. The adults were much quieter than when they arrived. They started the engines, backed out of my driveway, and drove away. Their dream of a fancy holiday getaway dissolved that morning. Not because I ruined it, but because they built it on the idea that my time had no value. Meanwhile, hours away in a warm, sunny place, I was sitting on the sand, listening to waves and feeling absolutely no guilt. For the first time in years, I wasn't the backdrop for anyone's holiday. I was just me. If the warm place made time feel slow and light like ocean wind, then back at Donna's, time moved differently. Every minute a noise, every hour a small crisis. I knew, not because I was there, but because Liam kept calling. But my phone was on silent. I chose quiet. I chose my life. The next morning, when they brought all the kids back to Donna's house, the chaos started earlier than they expected. 5 kids with different schedules, different ages, different energy levels. Donna's already small home turned into a battleground. Toys everywhere. One kid crying from hunger, another demanding TV, another wanting to go home, another yelling that they wanted Miss Madison. Donna, who always claimed watching kids is simple, looked worn out after just a few hours. Meanwhile, the 2 sisters-in-law kept trying to talk about moving their brunch reservation, but every time they opened their mouths, a kid screamed. Oh my God, are they always like this? One of them asked, sounding close to tears. How did Madison deal with this? The other muttered. A fascinating moment. It was the first time they ever asked themselves question. And Liam, he called me 8 times in 1 hour. I watched the screen light up, then go dark. Light up, then go dark. Not a single message from him was enough for me to turn the phone on. For the first time, I let him face his own family without using me as the buffer. By the afternoon, when the chaos reached its peak, Donna did the one thing she knew best. She complained. She opened the family group chat and sent a long message saying the holiday was ruined, that no one expected Madison to be this selfish, that she's an old woman and now has to handle everything herself. A whole stream of texts written like she was the only victim in the entire world. A few minutes later, I was tagged in a post from one of my sisters-in-law. A blurry photo, a long passive-aggressive caption. Sad to see someone turn their back on family when they're needed most. Some people only think about themselves. No name. But everyone knew, and they wanted me to know they knew. I waited. No response yet. Silence always makes people reveal everything they're trying to hide. About 2 hours later, while I was sitting on the hotel balcony listening to the waves and watching the streetlights flicker, I turned on my phone. I posted something very short. No ranting, no attacking, no pity party. Just a screenshot of an email Donna had sent to relatives a few months earlier, where she wrote, Madison begged to watch the kids for a few days because she's lonely at home. And below it, I added a screenshot of the message thread where I turned them down and they kept pushing me to help a little over and over again. I wrote only one line. To avoid misunderstandings, here's the full context. Nothing more. Within 10 minutes, my sister-in-law deleted her post. The family group chat went silent like someone had shut a door. Suddenly, the ocean air felt cooler, calmer. But it wasn't over. That night, something happened that I didn't expect at all but was completely in character for this family. I was drinking a fruit juice, watching the smooth black surface of the ocean, when my phone buzzed. A message from Mr. Henderson. Someone just tried to open your back door. The alarm went off. I called the police like you told me. I frowned, but I didn't feel scared. I knew everything was locked. All I felt was a sort of dark humor. After everything, they were still embarrassed enough to think they could sneak into my house to grab toys for the kids. An hour later, another message came. No one was arrested, but the police gave a very clear warning. The whole neighborhood heard the alarm. I pictured it. The alarm blaring. Kids crying from fear. Adults scrambling, confused, humiliated. Neighbors peeking out their windows. Police showing up and asking questions. I I didn't need anyone to tell me what would happen next. The next day, the whole family would avoid the topic like fire. And that's exactly what happened. Not one person mentioned it to me, but I knew how embarrassed they were. Before this, they thought I was too gentle to push back. Now they understood. I was quiet because I was polite, not because I was weak. When the final silence settled over the family group chat, I realized it wasn't the silence of people who were sad. It was the silence of people who knew they were wrong but couldn't put it into words. Donna stopped sending voice messages. My sister-in-law stopped posting vague complaints. Liam's brother stopped sending guilt-tripping stickers. Liam still called, but each call got shorter, like he didn't know what to say anymore or how to fix it. I wasn't avoiding him. I just wasn't fixing things for him anymore. Then, one afternoon, I got a short text from Liam's number. "Can we talk?" Everyone understands now. Understands what? A simple question I didn't need to answer. I stood on the sand, waves tapping lightly against my feet, the sky turning orange. I watched the sun drop toward the horizon and realized his family had just gone through their first real lesson in years, a lesson I had learned through my own exhaustion. For the first time, they were forced to face a truth they couldn't twist to fit their comfort. They'd taken advantage of me. Not once, not by accident, but for years in a way they considered normal, simply because I never made it a big deal. And when I finally chose to make it big, they had no idea how to handle it. I closed my phone, walked a little farther down the beach, and let out a soft breath. Not the breath of someone tired, but of someone who just stepped out of the box she was never meant to live in. I came home after a few warm, sunny days, with a mind so light it almost surprised me. No more feeling like I had to defend myself. No more sense that other people's holidays were somehow my responsibility, just the quiet of my own house. And for the first time, it actually felt like it belonged to me. That afternoon, there was a knock at the door. I looked through the little glass window. Donna was standing on the porch, holding a neatly wrapped tray of food, lasagna. I could smell the cheese even with the door closed. I opened it, but only a little. She smiled, the kind of smile that's half polite, half forced. "You're back," she said. She lifted the tray. "I made something. Thought you might be tired." Her voice sounded kind, but under that kindness, I heard the rhythm I knew too well. Guilt wrapped in concern. A knock at the door carrying the reminder that I was the one who disrupted the family tradition. I took the tray. "Thank you." Donna stood there for a moment, clearly not planning to leave yet. "Madison, I just want to ask." She let out a small breath, her eyes studying me like she was searching for signs of regret. "Why did you change so much?" I didn't dodge it. I didn't take a long breath to prepare. I just said the truth. The truth I'd been holding for a long time. "I didn't change," I said. "I just woke up." The silence between us stretched for a few seconds. Donna looked at me, not angry but unsettled. Maybe because she realized my reason wasn't emotional or impulsive. It came from growing up. I invited her inside. Donna stepped in with a hesitation I had never seen from her before. The house was quiet enough that she glanced around, as if searching for signs of the rebellion she assumed I had staged. I set the tray of lasagna on the table. "There's something I want to make clear with you." Donna sat down, hands clasped together. "Go ahead." I opened a drawer and pulled out a sheet of paper, the set of boundaries I'd written. Not long, not complicated, just direct and calm. "Here are my new boundaries," I said, placing the paper in front of her. Donna looked down. "Child care is a service. It has a price, a schedule, a deposit. If anyone disrespects me, all help ends immediately. If someone leaves their kids with me and walks away, I'll call Child Protective Services." Donna raised her eyebrows, the reflex of someone reading a term she's never seen before. "Madison, this isn't a contract to make money," I cut in, my voice calm but firm. "It's to protect my life." She didn't answer. I went on. "If you invite me as family, I'll come. I'll have dinner, play with the kids, bring gifts. No one owes me anything." I met her eyes. "But if you want me to be the babysitter so you can go out, then pay me. I'm not here to play the supporting role in anyone's holiday." Donna stared at me long enough that I could see two emotions crossing her face. Pride stung, and truth understood. After a moment she exhaled, heavy but not angry. "Madison, I didn't think things would end up like this." "I know," I said. "Because for years I let everyone think I was fine, so no one realized I had limits too." I stood straight, not defensive, not trying to look strong, just myself, clear about my own worth. Donna touched the edge of the paper lightly. I will try to respect this. I nodded. I don't need you to try, I need you to do it. Not loud, not threatening, but she understood exactly what I meant. A moment later, she stood up. Before she stepped out the door, she turned back to me. Madison, I still hope our family can be at peace. We can, I said. Just not at the cost of one person anymore. She gave a small nod, then left. In the weeks that followed, my husband's family changed, even if none of them admitted it out loud. They started saying please and thank you for even the smallest favors. No one sent messages assuming I was automatically available. No one assigned me a role and informed me afterward. Donna still complained about me to her friends. That didn't surprise me. But she didn't dare try the Madison has plenty of free time story again. And she definitely didn't repeat, you don't have a real life. They all felt the shift in me. I didn't explode. I didn't run away forever. I didn't threaten anyone. I didn't hold grudges. I just stood a little straighter. And that alone was enough to make the entire family adjust. One evening near the end of the year, I opened my laptop to book my next Christmas trip. This time, I didn't hesitate. I didn't wait to see what my in-laws wanted. I didn't check everyone else's schedule and squeeze myself into whatever space was left. I picked somewhere beautiful, far. Luan. A place where the only person I had to take care of was myself. Liam walked in, stood behind me for a few seconds, then asked quietly, "You're booking a trip?" "Yeah," I said, light as a simple confirmation of my new life. "This year, I'm choosing for myself." He didn't argue. He just nodded, like he finally understood something it took me years to name. I closed the laptop and looked at the small lamp in the corner. This holiday season didn't carry the old heaviness of roles I never wanted. It felt lighter, truer. And as I started packing for the trip ahead, I thought back to the night Donna told me that sentence, the one she tried to use to push me back into place. "You don't have a life of your own." I smiled. Steady. Calm, not bitter. Because the answer was already clear. That Christmas, they said I didn't have a life of my own. I proved I did, and I'm the only one who gets to live it. In the end, here's what I learned. If you don't set boundaries for your own life, other people will set them for you. And they'll always set them in a way that benefits them, not you. Self-respect isn't about raising your voice. It's knowing when to stand up and walk out of the roles someone else tries to force on you. That's the end of the story. Thanks for staying with me to the very last part. If you've ever felt dismissed, labeled as the free one, or pressured to sacrifice without anyone asking whether you wanted to, what would you have done in Madison's place? Leave a comment. I really want to know what you think. And if you like stories with a mature, cool, but honest perspective, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next episodes. Thanks for being here.